Welcome back to the OPL. We're about to get into game number 2, which is Pentanet.gg versus Mammoth. The dot is hard to get out of the mouth sometimes. Before we do, though...
So formal, Nick. Such a formal intro back.
Oh, look, I'm professional. Before we do, though, we, of course, at the OPL do a lot of painting. So painting is something that we love to do here. It's kind of,
as you can
I'd
see
say it's
behind
one of
you.
our signature bits. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd say, and I was in China at the time, one of the most iconic moments from that year that I watched a lot of while working on the LPL was the painting.
Yeah.
And it's been talked about on nearly every broadcast, I think, around the world.
Look, they can't keep up. Do you
Like-
reckon that every broadcast has talked... did they talk about the painting?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we
What
did
the-
Oval It.
Yeah.
What
So
haven't
she
we
obviously
covered?
talked about
in
it.
terms of
Atlas was a
broadcasts?
huge fan of it. Atlas actually said he had zero faith in me, and then I surprised his expectations. So good job, Max.
And then the terrifying half Frosk.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harvey Two-Face, or Frosky Two-Face as we like to call it.
So the issue that we had is that it all started when Juves and I painted Gragas.
Yep.
And then we went from Gragas to Nico. And we did Nico as a group.
Yeah, we killed that.
With sneaky...
Literally, with paintbrushes. It was death by 1,000 brush.
Sneaky pyro nipples coming in the background. And then to up the stakes from that, we then went to painting the casters from
And
around
that
the
could have
world.
gone wrong, because
could've
this
gone
is
really-
offensive.
Totally.
Like, I would say Atlas's is good, and the other two are genuinely offensive.
What are you talking about? I think she looks amazing, and I nailed the t-shirt.
The T-shirt, I actually know what it is. It's a
It's this,
stupid
April
liquid
Fool's
one.
liquid,
Yeah,
of
April
course,
Fool's.
yeah.
That's better than stupid liquid. I apologize, liquid. I really like your team.
But and then at where were we? We were at the OPL Grand Final at MEO last year. We painted the faces.
Oh,
of the
I
audience.
forgot about that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I was insane at that.
was great.
Me and Harrison.
Yeah,
Harrison, if you're still out there, hit me up, man. Like, that was a great time.
that was a good time. So we then need to
I
go.
like the
Okay, well,
box
what are we
segment.
going to paint now? So I figured the OPL is a family.
Uh-huh.
We love the players. We
Yes.
love the casters, but we also love
sometimes.
some of the viewers. And
Sometimes, again.
And oftentimes we've gone you guys to suggest what we're going to paint. That's how we got the Gragas. That's how we got the Nico. But now I want to paint you. So what I thought we could
already
do...
did that. That's what we literally did.
No, but I want to immortalize them. So what I want you guys to do is to submit pictures of you,
Oh,
and
no.
we will pick the ones that we like.
No, we won't.
And we will paint you, and we will put you on the set.
No
And you can be a
nipples.
I disagree.
Part of the OPL
Davo Erlo, I am not painting you.
for the rest of the year. So that's what I want to do.
Or any other suggestions. If you have a better suggestion than Nick, I'm certainly happy to field it at this point.
So
Yeah,
we...
does it have to be them?
It needs to... Well,
What
yeah.
about a pet?
Well, if you want to be boring, but who wants to see their pet on the broadcast? Who doesn't want to see themselves? You're on the broadcast, though. It doesn't count.
Oh.
You wouldn't replace you with a
Oh,
dog.
I mean, I might.
I would replace
I would
Rusty with
replace you
Bailey.
with... Yeah, I'd do
would.
that as well. That's probably a good point. But I would love to see some pictures of you. So you can send them to asknickboy@gmail.com. You can send them in using the hashtag IamOPL on Twitter. You can send them to me at nickboy or to our OPL account. No nipples, men and women, but particularly men, because sometimes the men have been submitting some nipples and they appear on the broadcast. And it's like, where
And
did
then I
these
get
nipples come
really,
from?
really nervous.
You really hate when the
What
nipples
I'm going to say is this isn't a rule where it's like, it has to be PG. This has to be something that Twitch chat, try and imagine for a second that you're going to have future kids.
Yeah.
Just try and imagine it, as difficult as it is.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't show this to your future kid, don't send it to me. I don't want to see it.
Send it to me. So are there any other rules or requests that we want?
There is one other thing that it did say on the graphics. The Juves is joining us for the Friday painting.
There you go.
The
So
OG
Juves is going to paint
painting.
someone.
Juves is going to paint.
How could you not want Jews painted? So do we want like
So to be like top half
I want it to be
only,
finger
or like
painted.
full body?
whatever
What
you
about
want.
dot painting only?
I'm
Can
down.
we restrict ourselves? Because you know what, Nick? I don't often talk about myself.
Oh, here we go.
Jesus.
However,
Here we go.
Only on days that end in Y.
I am a very good painter.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I feel like if I'm partaking, it's maybe not fair.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So you don't
this
want
guy,
to
yeah.
paint.
No, so I think we should do like dot painting.
Yeah.
Or like finger painting. Or like,
But
do you want to still use
What about
brushes?
that painting where you like splash it on the
Oh,
canvas?
I would do that. I would do splash
or
painting.
pouring. where
Yeah.
you just turn it
Yeah.
constantly. It's not going to look like anyone. No, the joy of this is that we need to get it looking as much like the person as possible. You can paint. You can interpret it however you want. You can interpret it however you want.
I'm the Picasso of the OPL.
I've seen some of our viewers. Some
I
of
am
them
the
already look like
Van
a Picasso
Gogh
painting.
of the OPL.
What I would say is that, like, are we selecting like one each, or like, do we know how
To be decided. We will decide this
Okay.
tomorrow on like the format of how we're going to do this.
So I'm thinking that, like, if I was to look at submissions
Yep.
from our viewers
Yep.
to
Which
paint,
we will tomorrow.
they would have to be exciting
Yep.
in some way.
They
So
have
like,
to stand out in some
this
kind
is
of way.
where, this is where I'm
yeah,
like,
okay.
if I was going to submit something, I'd do a budget cosplay or something like that.
I don't want to see somebody's
Yeah.
like
No
CV
nipples.
headshot. Do you know what I mean? Like you want to see something that's a little bit exciting.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
the absolute opposite. Send me nothing with imagination. Just send me
Passport
your like.
photos.
If it's on LinkedIn, I want to see it.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a good variety. So it's still literally just send anything. But yeah, I'm kind of with you that I'd like something that captures your personality. Like maybe
No-
we can
no
put it like that.
personality.
Well, maybe they have no
I
personality.
like to think of Twitch chat as just like a being. Do you know what I would like to paint?
Yeah.
I would like to paint what I think Twitch chat looks like.
Oh, here
Oh,
we
that's
go.
dangerous. Is it just like a mound of salt? Is that what it is?
It's
Is
the
that what
periodic
it is?
table
Have
circling
you seen the
at
episode of
ACL.
South Park?
No, but I know South Park, and so I think I know what they would do. All right, so we want to see your painting submissions. We are going to pick the winner/winners tomorrow on the show, so please send them in by showtime tomorrow. Again, at NickBoy on Twitter, at OPL, using the hashtag IamOPL, or send them to asknickboy@gmail.com along with your Nickbag questions. We would love to immortalize you on the show. It's going to be real nightmare fuel, so like be a part of it because it's going to be so much fun. All right, speaking of fun, game 2, pentanet.gg versus Mammoth. Let's take a look at the pentanet.gg lineup. Jake.
Fire Panther in the top lane, happiest man in the OPL. Yaxuli in the jungle, get back in the mid lane. Kratos and Rogue, one of the more promising bottom lanes, I'd have to say, out of the OPL. Western Way is their coach, and bottom lane in particular is interesting to me because I feel like we have a whole bunch of team fighting bottom lanes, but we really don't have a lane kingdom bottom lane. And I think this is the roster that could get the closest to the lane kingdom bottom lane. And I think Rogue even said it. He thinks Praetor has the potential to be the next FBI, and that's definitely what Vic was known for in the OPL.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, like, of any team in the OPL, these are the duo to play like the Thresh Lucian and kill
Yeah.
you 6 times in laning phase, where right now everyone else is playing the Misfortunes and the Infilios.
Alrighty, well, pentanet.gg, of course, need a Mammoth enemy
You
to
take
come
an
up
awkward
against.
pause every time you say that.
Against Mammoth?
No,
Or
the dot.
well, because it doesn't flow off the tongue in the way that I expect it to. Maybe I like PGG better.
I like
PGG.
PGG.
Maybe I like
Yeah,
PGG.
Kijiji.
PGG,
I like it.
that's pretty good as well. Skimmy, we're not talking about PGG.
We're not talking about
Mammoth.
them. And we're talking about the boys that are incredibly tall and looking to stand strong. It's Kweku in the top lane, Bass in the jungle, Lived in mid, Styled and Norska are your bottom lane. Still searching for that win. Still, I'm sure, a few tricks up their sleeve. And may I add, Norska is such a cool personality. I really enjoyed talking to him on NPL last week.
I was going to say, some likable bookends. That's what I call it. Some likable bookends there. Maui on your screen right now, I think
Yep.
was the nickname that we went
Yeah.
with.
Yep.
I think Fabio got overridden by Maui in the
Big
end.
time.
Yeah. And Nausicaa. Did he say he was 6'10"?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
6'10".
stood up
With
next to
only
Nick and
size
just powered
13
him.
feet.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
He could fall over.
Yeah, they're not big enough.
No. Big feet.
Absolutely. If you're 6'10",
Yeah.
surely if he did like hardcore sports, he would be one of those guys with arch
I reckon
issues.
he has tiny toes. Like, it's all foot.
So you reckon long soles?
Because he needs a
small
big
digits.
base
See,
because he's so tall.
I was thinking the opposite. Maybe he's like a bird. He's just got like a tiny foot in the middle.
big claws.
And he's just got like a big claw foot.
Nausicaa, if you want us to paint your feet, send us a picture and we'll put it on the show next week. But until then, it is time for game number 2, PGG versus Mammoth after this break.
As game 2 of the day, as we crack on in to the Macca's Champion Select, Mammoth up against Pentanet.gg.
with Mammoth needing to put out a big performance today to showcase that they still do have a chance to cause an upset here, still have some tricks up their sleeve, as I said.
Yep, we have 2 6-0 teams in the OPL that will be playing in our 4th game today. We have one team at 0-6 at the moment. That is going to be Mammoth. The rear end of the ladder as it stands, but still with opportunities for upsets as we're only 4 weeks into a 10-week split. So there's plenty of time there for them. As you can see, the reaction from Nausicaa is that Tarek was taken away from him, not going to be seen. Very specific, very targeted ban there. Makes you wonder why.
Possibly something they've been experimenting with a little bit more in scrims. We saw them play it last week with a combination between Nan and the Nocturne. You're looking to get that Cosmic Radiance, make Nocturne dive in.
Yeah, but you need a very specific setup for bot lane, right? Like a Tristana or something aggressive that could work with the Tarek to even make that a thing. So if you knew the Tarek was going to exist, you could counter it very easily. But Pentanet.gg choose early on in the piece to lock in their bottom lane, both of them straight away, completely blind of the Ezreal and the Braum.
Yeah, well, Brave actually hasn't shown us too much in the sense right now. He's been sticking to the Aphelios as well as the Misfortune. Obviously, Senna
Yasuo.
not in high regards anymore. Ezreal, the mobility since the change in 10-3.
I personally would like to see a Gragas Yasuo style composition here from Pentanet.gg in response to their opponent's draft. We're halfway there. I like the sound of that.
Gragas is on the Rift. Predator is just so ridiculous every single time I've gone up against it.
Yeah, the whistle's also very annoying when they're like in and out of range. Constantly whistles at you like I'm covered. But yep, Gragas locked in. Gragas with the Braum this time as well, so there's no denial of his ultimate. The reason that I say Gragas Yasuo, just for reference as the duo, is 1, Yasuo very good into Syndra because she can't ult, and 2, very good into Ornn, as Yasuo is already banned, because it can block that ultimate. Now, Braum is already there, so they're not actually a Yasuo-reliant composition. In fact, that would have just been like a luxury pick on like the perfect composition. Braum already cancelled, so they're fine. With the draft they've got right now, mid lane it could still be anything, and it could still be physical damage if they wanted, or it could be a pocket pick, you know, something that Get Back wants to play as the guy that can play everything in mid lane does get his pick of the litter, in knowing his matchup.
Yep, Yuumi taken away. We saw exactly what that could do when paired with the likes of an Olaf, so we don't want to see a repeat of that in game 2. We're going to see Kaiser disabled too, so definitely whittling around when it comes to that AD carry role. Aatrox online. Nice safe top laner.
Yep, soft flex there as well. Worst case scenario for Pentanet.gg, they could put it in mid lane. Not ideal, but they definitely could. We wait for Mammoth to pick their last 2 champions for bottom lane specifically, as they're picking for themselves right now as the draft has continued. Varus, very killable champion depending on what the support choice will be. Maybe something like a Leona preference, but note that they're against the Braum, someone that could just instantly kill you if you go forwards and engage. Leona not as preferenced.
Nausicaa has been quite happy to flex around when need be. He's going to go back to that fresh, and why would you not? Gives you that safety lantern, the box, if you will, to prevent people walking on in. It's going to have to find some miracle moments if they're going to try and dissuade this wombo combo setup, as you've highlighted from Pentanet, to set things up quite cleanly.
I think something like, depending on the player, of course, if it was Chaz, I would say Echo, but things like Echo are a possibility. Now, this is one of, again, Lucian is a soft counter style matchup, but they've gone for the LeBlanc. A lot more harass, a lot more poke can be done through siege setups and scenarios from the champion. In terms of the 1v1 in mid, it's a bit more linear in how you play the trades out. So Liv will have a bit of a better time in that 1v1. So again, not picked to just outright win. Not picked to just outright own that 1v1 matchup. When you can actually see that with the teleport that Get Back is currently running. We'll see if that changes. Because no ignite means very little kill threat in mid. Teleport.
It's been a little bit of like a Pentanet identity, if you will, right? Looking to always try and play that map. We drafted back to a time when they went Shen and Pantheon, even picking teleport on top of that, and saying this map belongs to us. We will fully split push all day, never giving you that chance to group up, never giving you that time to execute. And
why does everyone have a mustache? Sorry, it's just everyone does. Is this agreed upon? Sully's got handlebars.
He's just cosplaying Gragas.
A lot of Braum enthusiasts out there on Summoners Rift in this game, Skibby.
What do they say? You know, if you look good, you feel good, you play good.
Does the mustache look good?
But it's not Movember, so I'm a little bit confused. It's
Maybe
come
it just feels good.
a little bit too early for me. Regardless. Petanet.gg taking on Mammoth in the second game of the day. On standby, we do have Petanet's coach. It is Western Way. Once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I asked the same question before to Gravitas in terms of, 4 weeks into this one. How do you guys feel the standings work in your favor so far? Do you think it's a fair reflection on what you've observed, both in maybe scrims and just from your own observations?
I mean, I think our scrims have been going exceptionally well this season, which was kind of like a big theme which we talked about last week, was getting better performances out in week 3, which were more similar to scrims, and I think that definitely was the case. So for us now, it's just like, I believe we have the potential to shoot right up the standings, into the higher placings. So it's just going to be about, can we consistently do that,
Let's talk about that conceptually for a second, right? So what it is as a coach that you do to help the team replicate scrim performances on stage, because it is pretty easy to sit there and win scrims and to not know what's going wrong and translating it on stage. What do you do to help that?
It's just about like finding ways to help make the players more comfortable on stage, and just having little routines and things which you can replicate, which allow players to kind of feel the way that they do in scrims on stage. For like week 2, a lot of the boys definitely felt a lot more uncomfortable, but after the changes that we made going into week 3 and week 4, like everyone is on stage having a really good time, having a laugh, and just feeling like it does when we're in practice.
Are there any superstitions in your team? A lot of people have like their lucky socks and things like that.
I mean, everyone has some sort of superstition, right?
Yeah.
Somebody get the gears working. Talk to me a little bit about this matchup here. Obviously, going up against Mammoth, the 0-6. Does that change anything for you guys? Is there anything different you're going to be bringing to the table? Any experimentations, or is it just business as usual?
I mean, I think when you play against a team which is on the bottom end of the standings, like you just want to pick a composition where you just play standard, play normal, and just have good scaling, and just don't really force yourself into doing anything. You don't have to do any crazy strategies. You just have to play the game well, and the game should work out in your favor.
Not leaving anything to chance. Thank you as always, Western Way, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Let you go back to watching, and we'll get back to casting as we jump into this one here, Rusty. 2 minutes this time, so you actually got to catch an eye on the jungle pathing.
Yeah, we get to watch a little bit about the game this time. Not going to be a 4-minute coach interview. So we'll start the game off pretty standard again. Look at the way that they're clearing. One thing that did stand out to me was we were watching Sully clear the Raptors solo at level 1. Starts W. And one interesting thing to note is that, of course, you want to start that W. It is by far the lowest cooldown spell. It keeps all of the Raptors engaged with you as well as you run the Talisman. So you never really lose health, which is why it is such a good starting spell for being able to do the Raptors by yourself at level 1.
Well, Liv finding some good exchanges in the mid lane so far. Does have the jungler in their vicinity, so definitely having a good time of things as we see the first back come out here from Sully. Looking to go back and I'd imagine, get those boots online. There they are.
Yep, he's running Predator, so he'll go for the boots. Now, the thing is, while you're looking at what the Gragas is purchasing, his jungle's being taken away. Olaf, very quick on the clear, as we always like to talk about, has priority in his bottom lane with the 2v2 as well. And so the Thresh is able to come up here, place some wards down. They'll take the blue away. They won't risk it for the Gromp, but they will spot the Gragas as he returns, and he'll find his blue buff completely gone, as that Olaf doesn't reset, keeps the tempo advantage, and makes something meaningful from it, which is a really big deal here for Mammoth, and a very nice little play.
It actually is, obviously forcing out the fact that Sully has gone for the Predator, so punishing him for that early decision, punishing him for that kill pressure, if you will, as opposed to the jungle clear out. It's going to find himself a healthy 7 CS difference right now.
Now, one of the ways that you want to play out that mid lane as well in the 1v1, and why I say that LeBlanc is not the optimal matchup, so to speak, is that she can never use her W, her dash, forwards in a straight line at you, because that's predictable as the Syndra, and you can push her back.
Yeah.
Not only does that stun, you get a full trade combo and electrocute proc off that attempted trade from her, and then she has to expend further time or take further damage effectively to equalize the trade. So oftentimes you'll find LeBlanc going sideways or using a W creatively, which is what makes it such a hard matchup, and usually, to me anyway, requires the LeBlanc to be the better player or get the outplays to equalize or win those trades.
Well, both have reset in the mid lane now, with the variation coming from a second Dorans and LeBlanc as opposed to the boots on Syndra. So get back, just wanting a little bit more strength to clear out those waves to make sure he's not sort of sitting under his tower as such. Gives Sully a little bit more pressure to rotate around the map freely. as Olaf, as you say, has been the king of the jungle so far.
Right now, lots of priority in mid lane. 12 CS in advantage. Going to roam towards bot side to place some vision. What are they looking for is always going to be the question. Olaf, now that he's reset, can go for the Drake now. Could do red buff straight to the Drake itself if he would like. Opportunity presents itself. Bot is pushed. Mid has permanent priority. And I bring this up because I want to explore again, what do Mammoth do when they have moments of opportunity? How do they make plays around the map to get leads? How do they use something?
Well, that's going to come down to this bottom lane. He is going to get spotted out there by that ward. Chucks the X across to initiate the leash from the pit. Mammoth with that priority on bot lane, as you highlight, able to freely rotate on through. Penna not really able to do much at this stage, except, you know, spectated would seem.
Yep. They shouldn't be looking for the fight. Bass is further ahead than Sully as well. That tempo from the blue steal obviously starts to add up. They do exactly what you would expect of them. They get themselves the Drake. They use the tempo they have through bot lane, the priority in that lane. They use the mid priority being able to be forced by a Syndra as well, as he keeps the CS differential in that lane. And they get the free objective. Now the map, as we always see in the OPL as well, will flip towards the Herald side towards 8 minutes. So this is a couple of minutes of opportunity for someone to make an individual moment, get vision down, get a pick, get a 1v1. We crest over to level 6. That's why this opportunity presents itself.
Level 6, top lane being left alone like an island. Not really much going on right there, just a handshake of the bruises, both sitting on very even CS. Mainly playing ping pong, pushing the wave back and forward, not really opting for too many trades, but yeah, definitely the highlight has been towards jungle and mid. Bot lane still working in Mammoth's favor, but Get Back is being pushed. He's starting to make up some of those CS numbers.
Quecko rushes himself the Bramble Vest. No need to go back to base. We'll just use it in the lane. So a lot harder now for BioPanther to make those trades at all. However, he has the massive health advantage currently. So with 3 potions there for the On, we'll be very comfortable in that 1v1 at the moment.
Yeah, it's got the biscuits as well, so a ton of sustain with that inspiration tree being online, secondary. Bash is going to continue here. Does have level 6 online. Sully still does not, so even if he shows face, which he does in mid lane right now, he is looking to be funneled some minions. He needs level 6 online to really try and put some pressure into these matchups.
That's a blue buff given over to the mid laner of Lived as well. So not only does the jungler of Mammoth have the advantage, hold that thought.
Quecko looking to start things off as BioPanther forces out Flash. Both Flashes actually being burnt here as he jumps on the ground and he looks to try and make something happen with the edge of his blade. It's not going to happen, however. Sully's still not level 6. He's feeling the pressure. One cask would do it. Can Get Back be the saving grace? He will pick up the kill and he'll pass over the assist to the team and make up revenge.
Yeah, Sully flashing forwards with the Predator body slam on an Olaf with the ultimate running, so doesn't really do anything besides the damage. And in the end, the damage is all they really needed to make the play. Get Back follows that one through nicely to secure the kills. Liv going to get himself a turret plate in trade. Now Quecko presses R, misses his W, doesn't get the brittle proc on until R2 connects, and then flashes and doesn't get the auto attack off. Then also dashes through his Q that hadn't been prepared yet. So what I'm trying to say is, as far as Ornn combos go, that was the worst one, perhaps of all time. In saying that, they still have more than enough damage because Olaf hits the axe. And so they're able to get themselves the kill perfectly fine, utilizing the advantages that Bass has. And it's just so upsetting to watch an Ornn do that. You could have eaten that one, yeah!
Rotation comes out, as you highlight, with Mammoth in the driving seat. They've definitely been the ones finding this early game lead so far, and they need to execute on that front. Able to find the Rift Herald right now. May just look for a clean rotation to the top side for a very early unleashing. Break down some plates, accentuate that gold lead.
So mid was a 12 CS difference. Get Back roams to top lane. It now stretches through one more wave and a turret plate, which kind of equalizes the kill that he got up there. But it does mean that Get Back will be in a pretty good position overall to get that first item. But because he's gone for the Merc trend, which is totally fair, a lot of people do that in harder lanes. Very hard to kill is this LeBlanc, which means that Syndra may just want to focus once again on getting that lane priority and utilizing it to achieve something around the map. However, as it currently plays out, he's looking for those platey boys more than anything else.
Definitely has a lot of sustain under her belt. The Lost Chapter there, blue buff having now expired, but now being online for Get Back here. Maybe that's to start using those cooldowns start making up those numbers once again. Vision pretty dominated so far here by Mammoth throughout the rivers. And once again, just giving Bass so much confidence as to keep out-leveling, out-clearing, and out-exerting pressure.
From the looks of it here, Quecco is also going to be going towards the Abyssal Mask as his first on-upgradable item after going for the Bramble Vest with the Catalyst there. Curious to see how he continues this build out though, as he could at any point switch over towards going for the Sunfire in his build, just getting a Chain Vest or the likes. But means that he's getting the magic resistance, so Get Back and Sully will have a harder time killing him. Perhaps just confident in his 1v1 against the Aatrox already, just going to be farming, not playing strong side League of Legends. Drake up in 15 seconds means that he's definitely on the weaker side of the map. However, they do both have teleport if they wish to jump into the fray at this coming objective.
Be interesting to see how this next objective shakes up things here, especially in favor of Pentanet.gg. Typically speaking, they're a team that aren't necessarily heading gold, but they've tended to be down by about 500 gold as a team by the 15-minute mark. Compare that to Mammoth, who've been usually down by 1750. Mammoth definitely running with the wind and not letting their foot off the pedal as we speak about the top lane. Well, all the resistance in the world there, Rusty, won't save that.
Yeah, Get Back even showing himself there. They know their Ornn was going to die. They were going for the dragon all along, and unfortunately Quecco not in a position to back away as he was just getting very aggressively dove. Now the Herald that has already been taken by Bass, once again jungling very fast and doing very well so far. This Ola steps up, places it, and they'll break mid lane turret as the trade. They'll definitely get it before top lane even considers going down with 4 plates still remaining there. So it's just a plate trade for an entire mid lane turret, and this really unlocks the map in favor for Mammoth.
And trying to find those side lanes, trying to find those kills, those skirmishes, those turnaround moments to try and steer them nicely, smoothly, if you will, into this mid-game. You heard what Western Way mentioned about the scaling element. Definitely one thing they're going to be looking to try and achieve as they work towards those 2-3 items, really get those champions online and dealing out their roles effectively. But we're nearing that 20k gold mark now for Mammoth. And they're starting to break away from the pack.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing is actually the double Drake. Already locked in, and it's an Infernal map as well. So when you consider that, one more Drake, they'll be at soul point for the Infernal Soul. Big deal. If you're Mammoth, that's the objective now. You know, they did well to get the Herald on top of it all, as above all of that. So for the next 3.5 minutes, what you would like to see from them is just calm, continued farming.
You can see the response here from Pentanet is, well, we can't allow you too much breathing room. We've got to slowly stem this bleeding. We've got to try and find some advantages in these other lanes. Bleeding in mid right now, bleeding in the jungle too.
Yeah, they're not matching lane assignments at all. Unfortunately, that Q misses there from Bass as well, but he'll still pick up the Herald as Sully's trying to run him down. A bit yakety-saxy. Blue buff could be a smite contest, but no smite for either of them means that Liv will get it. Flashes in.
That's a flash to try and find something right there. Blue buff taken, but blue buff donated. Thank you very much, says Praedif. That'll help me stack up that tier. That is for certain. Finding 1 kill. And ideally now allowing Get Back a few moments of catch up, if you will.
Yeah, and in a way going against what I was hoping to see from the side of Mammoth as well. Bass caught in the river by multiple members. They're not matching lane assignments. Style flashing bot lane actually was 1 tap away from getting Biopanther with the potions running. He heals through it. But they're keeping this bottom lane. Styled and Nausicaa down in the bottom lane. They haven't rotated them. And so Bass being caught in top river, he definitely doesn't have the same support that Pentanet.gg had through Praedith and Rogue being there. And then the Syndra dies after all of that, with flashes now expended after that bot lane trade from almost everyone, from the middle side of the map at least, AD, mid, and jungler. And with a Drake fight coming up in 2 minutes, Pentanet could look at that and say it's pretty juicy.
Kill or no kill. Mammoth do find that tower on the bottom side. Get Back responds by taking a few plates before they fall away. Sully once again showing face here, really making sure Quecco not going to have a good time. Pops to Predator, waiting for that minion wave to crash on in as the Ornn Horn comes across. The response here from Pentanet is, we want 4 members. That's my broken stopwatch. That's my life in the balance. And that is your tower gone.
Yeah, I mean, The turret will fall down here as well. They'll break the top lane outer. Again, feels like an inevitable thing. Quecker's staying at that turret with a very shallow ward. You can see where it's placed in the tri-bush. By the time he sees them, it's too late every single time. So may want to extend the depth of that ward to get a little bit further, perhaps. Gragas still has mobility, so it's a hard thing to do. And then once he sees them, just presses W the wrong direction by accident very clearly, and that comes back to hurt him. Nice stopwatch use from Sully, however, will make sure that they get the kill. And Mammoth, still with that objective focus in mind, they don't really care about the life of their top laner. They do care about the objectives a lot.
They do indeed. Regardless of what's just happened, Gold Lead still sticking at their 2K mark. Second Rift Herald in their favor.
Yeah.
All the vision around. Scuttle online. Vision for days.
So the trade-off of that Herald was control of the bot side river, which is where Pentanet.gg are going to plant themselves right now. Feet down in the bottom lane. Blue buff in correct timing here for Lived if they wanted to... Oh.
Poor Kweku. It seems to be a common theme for teams to try and exploit at this stage. Sully with the Predator. Says hello once again as the big boys clash faces. Goes for the smite. Tries to donate it to get back, but says, actually, you know what? I want that one. It's time for the Drake. And Mammoth, well, it seems to be their common response to the situation with Quecker going down, always finding pressure in other lanes to try and respond.
Yeah, and again, not a bad response here from Mammoth overall as a 4-man unit. You've got Styled and Bass pushing top lane, Nausicaa waiting in the wings. Top lane in the turret is also going to drop down. They knew full well. Everyone in the map knew that this Drake was something worth contesting because you don't want to give Mammoth soul point. And now you've got an Infernal Dragon that can start to stack up 4 times if you're Pentadet. So every Drake that spawns from here on out is more important. And so they respond saying, our top laner, honestly, is just a magnet. Wherever he goes,
literally,
they're diving me. So let's just play the map and you try and get objectives somewhere else. And they do. They get 2 towers.
I'm glad you raised that point because, as you say, they know that the soul point is so close and so online, so they can say, look, you show face and bottom, we'll push towers. They get 2. They get a fair bit of chunk of change out of that situation there. And really the driving seat is now in Pentanet's favor. They need to sort of figure out how they're going to try and turn this fight around.
Yeah, with the amount of deaths that Quecker has been suffering, it really is good from the rest of the map to capitalize on that and gain something. It's still going to be a, he hasn't finished an item yet, but once he does, and he ticks over to level 12, still going to gain some of that disadvantage back at the very least. Hopefully with this recall, never mind, hopefully he has the Abyssal Mask coming up soon. So provide him with something.
Fire Panther has been locked in that side lane, and the big reason, obviously, why he's so far ahead in CS is both mid laners look to flex their might. Jukes in, Jukes out. Ignites are traded. Neither will fall on down as now the junglers have a go at it. But Pentanet have an army, and they have a response as they come on through. Glacial Fissure, perfectly timed as the Ragnarok expires.
Nausicaa.
And the True Shot barrage to ensure that Praetor starts to become online. He's 1-0 right now. Rogue gonna fall on down, disengages with the box. No major objective to contest at this stage, but a little skirmish to showcase both teams' power levels.
Yeah, just some real chaos, honestly, on Summoner's Rift at the moment. A mostly perplexing game. Sully and Rogue die in what was a 1-for-2 trade somehow that they were the ones starting. And it starts with that mid laners in top just having a 1v1. Liv to use all of his spells. Early uses a stun, which means to get back and go for a max damage trade combo. And then Bass spots himself as Sully, says, let's dance. Sully sees that the Olaf is altered, throws his cask out anyway for fun. And now he hasn't got a lot of health. Bass is now caught because the reinforcements arrive, and then Nausicaa is just literally going to flash, ignite, and auto attack to get a kill, and now Rogue's stuck as well. Because they're so far into the Mammoth side of the map, using everything they have to kills on a single Olaf. That comes back to bite them with how quick the rotation was by Mammoth.
Continuing just to keep split pushing. It's what I was highlighting before that play took place. And as you can see, he's working his way to being one of the highest CS members on that team, looking to try and be that juggernaut flanker, if you will, maybe trying to combine with the likes of Sully, finding an angle, getting the job done quickly before a rotation can come out here from Mammoth.
Yeah. So one thing that we have to keep in mind, Skibby, as the game progresses, is that is a big Aatrox. He's a pretty big boy. 50-odd CS in advantage for himself, working on his second completed item now. Compare that to his opponent who's yet to complete an item. If both top laners come into a fight before they can even hit the level 12, level 13 points of the Olaf, Rogue just dead, by the way, then I think it's a really big deal for the side of Pentanet.gg to get Bio involved into the mix. But right now, I think Mammoth keep looking for these 4v4s. Maybe you can keep the Aatrox away, play your side lanes appropriately, and you might be continuing to find these good opportunities for picks. And this game, especially with that last kill, is getting scarily into the hands of Mammoth.
They've dominated for the first 20 minutes here, Rusty, and like I said before, and I'll say again, they are definitely not leading their hands off that leash. They are firmly on the grip. They are firmly sitting with this 2k gold lead. 1 minute on the Drake, Baron available.
Nobody wants to be the team that gives Mammoth a win.
No.
But it really feels like a lot of Mammoth's weaknesses haven't been happening so much in this game. You know, a lot of teams, even if they fall down early by whatever the amount is, they'll slowly get picks back up. They'll just slow the game down, play the map, and bring it back in their favor. Yet to happen. And whether that's Mammoth playing up or Pentanet.gg playing down, doesn't matter.
And it does feel a little bit to me as if, well, if a team's identified that they can bully out Kweku, well, Mammoth are actually responding in good pressure. You find a win here, but we'll find double the advantages in an opposite lane. And what you might think is a situation that could cause tilt, could cause a little bit of us rookies to get unhinged, isn't actually. We've done the numbers, we've done the reviews.
Now, 10 seconds till this Infernal Dragon is, again, a big point of contention. Every Drake more important, as mentioned before. Pentanet.gg have control of the river. They have all of the vision set up in their favor. And it's Praetor poking, trying to keep them at bay. Get back can do the same thing, but Bass, he's already here.
He's on that flank. Now the members of Pentanet
Oh,
are
the
stuck
Ornal.
between a rock and a hard place. Orn gets denied. Olaf on his own. He jumps in, completely disconnects from the rest of the team. Nausicaa with the box, trying to disengage, but Bio is big. You highlighted it, and he is doing work right now. Double kill is what he's sitting on. The team find the moment. The team find the collapse. The team find 3 members. And they end it with a quadra kill. Now with Drake. Instantly like that, Rusty, the goal is square even.
And there you go, the objective comes up. Mammoth not prepared in time. A very odd flank from Bass just dies. And Pentanet.gg, they find the moment that a lot of other teams have been able to find at Mammoth. It does feel like one of those inevitable fates. They get themselves back into the game. We see how it happened. Baz just really far away from his team. And then when the Ornalt comes out, he thinks the engage is on. But because Braum just cancels it, it's not. And he, unfortunately, just instantly dies. The follow-up from Nausicaa as well, trying to keep them at bay, hits some crowd control. He's just locked down. The Orn's squishy, so the second he's the target of focus, he's killed straight away. And then these two carries, Style tries his best, Lived also does, but they're not going to get any kills on the backside. Pentanet.gg just wipe their opponents.
Old memories come back to haunt here, Mammoth. As they get baited out there by the Ornalt. Now Pentanet with that newfound confidence can look to try and set things up now. 22 minutes into this one, starting to scale on up, starting to get a few items online. Trinity falls Munimune. He's there for Ezreal, so Praetor is starting to actually output a fair bit of damage now.
Yep. Not just confidence, right? Definitely backed up with strength. And they brought the Aatrox to the fight. He had a significant impact, and it is really just that simple.
Finding out Lived here in that 1v1 as both mid laners look to flex their might again. True Salt Barrage nearly left for the donation. Everything being chucked at it. It was almost like a lottery raffle. Who's going to find the kill?
He just kept dodging spells. He wasn't getting away because the dodges are upwards, but he just kept on dodging them. Wave cleared here by Mammoth, but no mid laner means that defending, or at least getting control back of this barren river area, not so easy. Kweku face tanking with the very little amount of armor that he has as well is not ideal against Praetor, who is pretty big with his current items. And Get Back, like you just saw, has a whole host of damage now that he is 5-0-1.
The resets coming out here now from Pentanet, looking to see exactly how these goal differences truly work on out. Biggest difference can obviously be observed from the jungle and the top lane when it comes in favor of Pentanet. 80 carries, quite even at this stage, both sitting on 2 massive items, identical with their goal count.
Yeah, the only real advantage is in the jungle role for Mammoth. Of course, there is 1.4k for the Thresh, but the impact that the supports are having with the gold difference is pretty minimal. Braum is relevant just by pressing E. You'd want to say a very similar thing for the Ornn, but not just yet. He has just ticked level 13 though, so he can start giving people items. Maybe the Might of the Ruined King for style would probably be the best starting point, but he has options actually everywhere.
Mammoth got to be careful here because Kweku's not there. Pennant are playing the side lanes once again with LeBlanc and Bio.
Yeah, Aatrox showing bot lane, so they're definitely not doing the Drake, but it is very hard to try and get that vision until he shows. Now that he goes missing, Mammoth have taken the opportunity to clear the Baron pit and area. They'll have to disengage soon, and the dance will continue. They have no real meaningful wards in the Baron area. It's blue trinkets, though, unfortunately. So it'll just get very easily cleared, and control will be handed back to Pentanet.gg.
Yeah, control wards spread throughout the map and tri-brushes, making it easy to rotate. But as you tend to see when it comes to Baron especially, the rotation of a team comes through, they'll get cleared out, the recall comes in, and the refresh happens once more as Brom has just done that. 4 wards in his trinket. It's going to force that Nausicaa to do the same very shortly now.
Yeah, the control ward battle is always going to be a place to look at. Nausicaa does need himself a reset soon if they want to continue to keep control. There's a really nice deep ward behind in the enemy blue side quadrant that Biopanther can teleport to if the fight breaks out around the Baron itself. But with the Drake up in 44 seconds, I suspect that that will be the place they realistically will be looking towards. Once again, 3 Infernals possibly there for Pentanet.gg, which could put them at Infernal Point. Soul Point with 4 Infernals, that's a big deal.
Especially given how scary some of these carries have shown to be.
Oh, they're just going to hit it.
They're
just throwing the gauntlet.
They are going for this one right now. Rusty LeBlanc in no man's land. Get Back has such a big distance to catch up right now. 7k and falling. The flash to try and stop things happening. They're looking to try and make this fight work in their favor. 4v5 if they can. The cast comes out, splitting the members apart. Easy pickings for Pradev as he finds 2. With those Mystic shots, he's just having the time of his life. Burning summoners, burning flashes, burning life bars. And quite lucky not to be burnt out there by Lived.
Yeah, they die. Having ultimates available. Styled now goes down as well. Get Back's able to lock him. Godlike uses the Ignite and a full burst combo. Lived the only person really left to fight.
He has nothing.
And he's not really got an opportunity to stop this one whatsoever. Just wants to defend mid lane. This could also be the Infernal afterwards. To the side of Pentanet.gg. They got a sniff, they got some momentum. They're able to carry through the rest of the game with this. And there's a lot of unfortunate things that happen in that last team fight that we have to look at once again. Kweku holds his ult, but Braum has just used his door. And all of this time, Kweku could have pressed R. It looks like it's on cooldown. Was it used?
Well, if it was, I don't know where it was.
I didn't see it. Maybe it just wasn't visible on an animation. It says it's on cooldown. So either way, the door was used by Braum and they'll block the damage. And you can see just Pentanet.gg are unrelenting and they don't lose health in comparison to their opponents, such as the Olaf who has to run through damage to get to a backline and put anything down. He just gets one tapped at this point.
Well, if you're a Pentanet fan, you're very happy at this stage because they've survived the early game. They've transitioned quite nicely into this mid game. You're looking at those carries. You're looking at Get Back and Pradev. 7-0, 4-0. Compare that to a 0-2, 1-2 response. You're feeling pretty good about your chances coming into this one. Now 3 Infernals to your name, only further accentuating that. And a Baron buff too. Now you can look to try and set up these lanes quite nicely and work towards those inhibitor win conditions.
Kweku, goodbye, my friend. I think is the... Oh, actually...
There's not really much to say in this one! Oh, the flash from Sully! It looked clear cut, it looked like it was done. Like no words needed to be spoken of, but...
Yeah, a lot of effort went into the making of attempting to kill the Ornn once again, but he just walks away with the support of his team. However, during the time of the rotation of Mammoth, they are still pressuring mid lane. Biopanther putting some good damage down, and they still break the bottom tower. And Varus has ulted.
Varus has ulted indeed. He wants that Wombo. He's looking to find it, and he may just. Kweku survives the Wombo that comes out of Get Back here. And they do take out Pradev. They get the shutdown. Not a bad trade whatsoever. And I was just about to highlight Bio. I don't think anyone can go up against him in the mid lane. But then they find that exchange in the bottom side and buy themselves some time.
And let this be a lesson that if you help your Ornn, he can help you get the kills. As he survives, he puts down some crowd control, and between him and the Olaf as well, some good damage. But there you go, Mammoth, they hold. The Baron buff is now completely nullified. But they have brought themselves into the advantage, Pensinet. 3,000 gold lead, as you can see here. The Ezreal prayed at his court. Orn knocks up the Braum, trying to protect him. And then just as simple as Style hitting the Q, and then Bass throwing out that axe. 1,000 gold straight into the pockets of the Olaf.
The max range axe. That would feel pretty satisfying.
One more shutdown remaining on the side of Pensinet.gg that's worth really getting as best they can. That's the LeBlanc. 700 gold, so 1,000 gold for killing him. You'd be looking to that one. You'd be hunting that if you're Mammoth.
Bio is well on his way to hitting that 100 CS over his counterpart. He's actually the highest in the game so far, on his team anyway.
Yeah, 4,000 roughly gold in the lead for himself. If we take into account the Orn's items, I believe he'd be close to the Sunfire now, surely. That adds, about 1,700 gold value towards that item. And then with the Infernal Mask, another, say, 1,500, as Lived has gone so deep with that blast code.
He's trying to make something happen, but the only thing that will happen is him falling on down. Pentanet confused. Why are they forcing a fight?
Yeah, Lived is deaded, not lived. I really don't know why he took the blast code. This is a very questionable decision, but yes, they get the kill. They don't just get one, they get two. Pensinet.gg now pressuring mid lane because they can. Bromdor's still there for the Ornn ultimate as well, so clearing this wave, not the easiest thing to do.
Pentanet very happy with this situation because the result of that allows them now to open up mid lane without a Baron buff, without a soul point. Top lane being battered down as well. 100 CS will very shortly be there, 295 to 200. And what seemed like a bit of a lull state suddenly became an opportunity. Now you can clear out the jungle, now you can go for those recalls, and now you've got a minute after that to set up for those big moments.
I mean, that really has been the key defining feature in this game, right? At points in the game where there should be nothing happening, there's a lot of things happening. Lots of kills, lots of champions. Duking it out for things as, as meaningful as a blue buff. A lot of people group up for those picks, and that starts to get accentuated further. Sometimes it's just trading between mid laners. It turns out a full-blown team fight happens out of that. Now, this is the Drake. If ever there was one that Mammoth need to be prepared for, need to set up their vision for and contest, it is this one. As Nausicaa steals two of the fruity boys away from him, for shame, but mid priority always comes first. However, Lived almost just dies for that priority.
Lived is in a situation where he needs to get out the hell of dodge. He's got no flash and he's got no health. He's zoned away. He can't even use that ultimate. The Ornn ult comes out, but what will it do? Not much at this stage as a double kill gets found. The carries, the true carries of Pentanet, showcasing their strength, putting it on full display. They're going to run it straight down mid.
And why end the game when you could kill Queku a sixth time? The Infernal Soul next to them as well. Biopanther and Sully are going to end the game. Teleports come in as well. So this should just be GG. Pensinet.gg eventually wipe the floor with Mammoth.
And what's interesting to know about this one here, Rusty, Get Back actually going to tie Eminez as the most kills in a single game. Currently held by him with 12 kills on Silas when they took on Mammoth. Now Get Back going to respond and do the exact same when he gets to play LeBlanc. GG as Pentanet take this one 33 minutes in.
A very peculiar game of League of Legends to be watched back by both of these respective teams. A very slow start from Pentanet. Not a massive surprise. Again, they aren't the fastest people off the bat. We saw earlier in the season as well, they like to play the objective style game, slowed the map down as best they could and just tried to get the small advantages as that cascaded further through. But Mammoth got advantages on them. Mammoth were the ones with a 2,000 odd gold lead 10 to 15 minutes into the game. And they were the ones looking like they could have taken it to them, except for that one fight at Drake, where everything went back the other direction. And all of Mammoth's good work was completely undone.
Definitely running the show for the first 20 minutes there, but just unable to find those executions, especially in that Baron when there was that 4v5 when the fight went downhill from there. But that does it from us for the meantime. Let's jump back to the couch with the boys.
I just want to interview Mammoth once.
Oh, that's flame, dude.
That's all I want. I
That's
just want
flame.
because they're nice. They're nice, charming boys.
So then do a losers interview.
We should. We should. Why are we so biased towards the winners? I don't
know.
understand. But look, that was a pretty thorough spanking.
I think so that was a game of two halves. But unlike in traditional sports where if you win a half and they win a half, it's equal.
Yep.
If you win the first half of League of Legends, then lose the second half of League of Legends, you lose.
Exactly.
And that's what Pentanet.gg seem really good at doing at the moment. They just like sit there and absorb farm and pressure off Summoner's Rift. And then 15 minutes come online, they're like just group as 5 and they win games.
We may not be able to talk to Mammoth, but we can talk to a Mammoth in the OPL. It is Praedyth.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Have you ever been in this room before? On the couch?
No, not on the couch.
With me.
I never had the luxury of being on a couch here. So.
You know, I asked after you about 5 times last year.
Really?
Yeah.
What can you
You're
say?
always in the bathroom. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You weren't in the bathroom in that one. Good game. How did that feel for
Thank you. Early game was very shaky. I think we had plans coming in, but you didn't get to execute them. But I think, as Jake said, like if we get to 15 minutes, our team's just super scary. Yeah. And if we're 15 minutes even and we're all our comfort champs, then like I don't think many teams can stand up to us. I mean, obviously Legacy can, and week 2 happened, but yeah.
And talk to me about your laning partner, because I see, and I don't know what your thoughts on this are, but my interpretation of a lot of the AD carries and supports in the OPL at the moment is like they're heavily skewed towards out of laning phase, team fighters, you know, some shot callers in there. Whereas I see you as one of the few AD carries in the league that actually wants to play super aggro in lane. Then you hit me with the Ezreal. So what was going on there, first of all? And do you agree with kind of that analysis that you're one of the last kind of AD carries that does like to really dominate the laning phase? Yeah,
so the Ezreal pick, I think we've defaulted to like comfort, like mid-game team fights comps. I think Ezreal's just like super powerful. I think also like in the mid-game, Ezreal's like a limit test champ. Like I remember when I was a top laner and I versed FBI, who's now in the NLCS, I was like, I hate versing this guy's like Ezreal mid-game because he was just so aggressive and he just seemed so much better than everyone else at Ezreal. So I guess that's what I'm trying to do in the mid-game. I do agree with the laning phase thing. I think we always try to kingdom the laning phase, at least in practice. But I think like the stuff I see in scrims compared to stage, as like every team, like supports just like inting in scrims, and like they'll never do this on stage. And then I think it's like 2 different things that people have to differentiate. And like, yeah, I think we're still working on that personally.
And I think a lot of people at the start of the year looked at Pentanet.gg and said, you know, where does the star power come from? Like, you guys are all really solid players, but who's going to step up and be that star, right? And I think that you are starting to fill that mold. But internally, was that ever a conversation about, you know, where do we get like this firepower from? Or were you guys always super confident as a core that you'd be able to get it done?
Thank you. And I think our team, like whenever we talk about like our style or anything, it was just like heavy macro, and we have like a really good coach. So we just work as a unit. I don't really think we're a friendship team. I think that's pretty cringe, but like we work together really well off each other, and I hope we can show it at least tomorrow versus Chiefs. I'm excited for that match.
And you're number 5 before you jump in.
Please.
Balenciagas. I think you're the 5th player that we have interviewed with these
Let's make
shoes.
this straight. All right. So I got these, the green soles,
because
I joined Legacy.
Okay.
And I saw someone who came here, she plays League. I think she's like Kimmy or something. So she had these, and I thought, wow, they look so sick. So I decided to get them. And like, I really wanted to get them. And then I kept imagining seeing these like on the streets, just like, because my eyesight's pretty bad. And I was like, oh my God, these people have them. And I get close and they didn't have them. So I was like, I just need to get these because like I'm obsessed with them. So I got them, and then I think Praedyth is a bit of a fan. So
so everyone's copied you.
No, okay. I copied Kimmy, and then everyone copied me, I guess. No, just Praedyth. I don't know about anyone else.
At this point, someone just needs to send me a pair of these shoes. Because it comes up every week. If one of the teams, just shell out for a pair of shoes, and I'll make sure you win every game. Finally, you were talking about the star power.
Yep.
Obviously, you're amazing.
Well,
and you've got some amazing players on your team. But I would argue the real star power is Pete, their GM, because he is so good on Twitter. He is a very entertaining man. Is it helpful that he's contained in Perth? or does that make it? Is he trying harder to push that energy to you across the country, or is it like it's good that he just stays there?
I only have positive things to say about Pete. When he came down before OPL week 1, it was a pleasure to be around, and he does help us with things like interviews and social media presence and stuff. So I only have positive things to say about him. I don't think you're gonna get anything spicy from me.
I don't want anything spicy. I'm a huge fan. If you tell me something spicy, it'd actually devastate me. All right, well, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Good luck for the rest of the split, and we'll be back right after this short break.
Is actually being burnt here as he jumps on the ground and he looks to try and make something happen with the edge of his blade. It's not going to happen, however.
Flashed it in.
That's a flash to try and find something right there. Blue buff taken, but blue buff donated. Thank you very much, says Praetor. Glacial Fissure, perfectly timed as the Ragnarok expires. And the True Shot Barrage to ensure that Praetor starts to become online. He's 1-0 right now. Rogan have fallen down, disengaged with the box. Pennet are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Orn gets denied. Olaf on his own. He jumps in, completely disconnects from the rest of the team. Nausicaa with the box, trying to disengage, but Bio is big. You highlighted it, and he is doing work right now. Double kill is what he's sitting on. They're looking to try and make this fight work in their favor. 4v5 if they can. The cast comes out, splitting the members apart. Easy pickings for Praetor as he finds 2. With those Mystic shots, he's just having the time of his life. He needs to get out the hell of dodge. He's got no flash and he's got no health. He's zoned away. He can't even use that ultimate. The all-ult comes out, but what will it do? Not much at this stage as the double kill gets found. GG as Pennet take this one 33 minutes in.
Introducing Macca's Mini Games. Play today and win on the My Macca's app.
Woo! Winning!
Every play wins one of your Macca's faves.